Okay, we're working on a 2003 Chevrolet Monte Carlo with a 3800 V6, and customer complaint is low power, doesn't upshift like it should, just overall poor performance. And so we're going to take it for a drive here and see how it acts. And at idle it seems to run fine, but I'm going to go ahead and kick it down here and see what we got. We got a check engine light of a P0300, which is a random multiple misfire detected. And I'm going to kick it down here and see what it does. And I got it floorboarded right now, and it's kind of making some funny noises out of the catalytic converter, and I can only get about 4,000 RPM out of it. It doesn't want to upshift until I let up on it. And I'm going to go ahead and floorboard it here again. And I'm floored right now, and it's just barely at 3,500 RPM. Definitely low on power. And it's kind of chugging, surging a little bit. Looks like the check engine light's now flashing at us, and the max we can get out of it's about 60 mile an hour. And I can kind of hear a popping noise from, sounds like the engine compartment or just underneath. And doesn't upshift until we let up on the accelerator. Okay, we're back at the shop, and we've checked over some of the simpler things that can cause our P0300 code. First thing I did was check the fuel filter. I put a new one in. The car has 108,000 miles on it, and if we're restricted on fuel, we could be low on power as well. So that was one of the first things that we changed out, was the fuel filter. The other thing I started checking on was some of the vacuum hoses under the hood to verify what kind of shape they're in case we had some kind of a vacuum leak. And I did find one that when I touched it, it kind of went to pieces. Basically, it broke up and would have caused us a problem down the road, not too distant future. Another thing, the car, again, with 108,000 miles on it, had original plugs, original spark plug wires. One of the spark plug wires had a mouse had chewed on it, gotten under the hood and chewed on it. And the plugs being original, it was time for a change of plugs and wires. So we went ahead and did that. None of the changes we made a difference in how it ran. So we've also checked the intake manifold. We sprayed some carb cleaner around the plastic plenum to verify that there was no leaks there. We checked over nearly everything we could check over. Another thing to think about too, come on over with the camera. On the coil pack on these cars, you should also check those. What can happen is these coils, a lot of times they're dry inside these boots, and the moisture will get drawn in from the cycles of heat and cold. And then the metal inside will start to rust and corrode up here on the clips that click on the towers. And this one here didn't have that problem. We checked that out, and we put some silicone dielectric compound on all the terminals so that does not happen. And all the towers and all the plugs inside had looked good on the old one, so that was ruled out as an issue. We got a feeling just with the way it's running that we may have a restricted exhaust, the catalytic converter, and we're going to loosen that up, and I'll show you how to do that and go for a test drive and see if we regain some power by loosening up that catalytic converter and letting a gap between the exhaust manifold and the catalytic converter. And what that does, it gives you an alternate route for the exhaust to go out, so that if that catalytic converter is plugged, it'll tell us and let us know through the power increase. So we'll go ahead and do that and be back with you. Okay, we are underneath the car and taking a look at the catalytic converter, and it's pretty hot yet, but we're going to come up here and show you where to unhook it at. And right up where there's actually two bolts, one on each side on this one. You can kind of see the stud there with the nut on it. And there's one here on the opposite side as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to take those nuts back and loosen them up so that we can create an alternate path for the exhaust to come out. And we can test then and see if the catalytic converter is plugged, if it makes a difference in how it runs, and then obviously the catalytic converter is plugged. So we're going to go ahead and loosen those up just enough so that we can open up that gap. The car is going to be very loud once we do that, but we're going to take it for a short drive just to see if we get our power back. So we'll check that here in a second. Okay, we've loosened up the catalytic converter from the exhaust manifold, and you can hear the car is a little louder. We're going to go ahead and see what it's got for power now to verify that we got a problem with that catalytic converter. So here we go. definitely made a huge difference in power. It's going right on up through the gears. It's definitely got the power back, so that verifies that we've got a bad catalytic converter. So we'll be putting a new catalytic converter on, and we'll take it for a drive afterward, erase the codes, and make sure that we got it all fixed. Okay, what I've done is taken the old catalytic converter off, and I want to give everybody a good look at what it looks like inside of one. This is the one off that 3.8 that was giving us all the trouble. This is the inlet end, and you can see there that the honeycomb is getting somewhat plugged up. It looks like the catalytic converter itself is kind of going to pieces and kind of plugging off. The almost looks like a window screen, and that window screen effect goes all the way through to the other end. And I'll show you the outlet end. The outlet end actually looks fairly normal, and that's the way the inlet should look. So gives you some idea what goes on inside that catalytic converter when they start to plug up. Okay, we've replaced the catalytic converter, and we're now out for a test drive. We're going to go ahead and run on up through the gears and make sure that we got the performance back that this 3.8 should have. So here we go. It's definitely performing like it should now. Big difference. New catalytic converter, no restriction. Goes right on up through the gears. We erase check engine light. Looks like we got this problem but the rest. There may be quite a few other causes for the P0300, which is a random misfire. But in this case it was the catalytic converter. So I believe we safely put this one to rest. Thank you.